Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
Welcome on into Palm Beach Gardens, Florida on the 6th of January, 2026. Colin Russo and Mike Rizzo with you. We're live on site here at the TGL at the SoFi Center, where you got a little early match today, 5 p.m. TGL on ESPN2. Take a listen to all those spots and all those great places. The big announcement today from the TGL, they actually announced the WTGL in accordance with the LPGA, which is going to be a women's league with the TGL that will launch not this year, but next year. Announcement just came about. Players, teams, or where they're from, where they play, and the schedule TBD. What we do know is the league is coming. So more and more is happening down here at Palm Beach Gardens, and this is going to be match number 3. So come on down to Palm Beach Gardens and enjoy it's a beautiful day here in South Florida and enjoy some golf on the big screen, quite literally, over at TGL. Mike Rizzo and Colin Russo. We're streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X at ESPN West Palm and ESPN South Florida. You're going to have two great, this is as good of a football weekend as I think we've had all year. Why? Because you got 2 playoff semifinal games on Thursday and Friday. And then through the weekend, you got 2 playoff games on Saturday, you got 3 on Sunday, and you got 1 on Monday. Mm-hmm. And it starts things off with the Miami Ole Miss game. But the fact is, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight days of 1 or more playoff football games. Let's start this before we go into college football. Which of the 8 games are you looking forward to the most?
Believe it or not, I think it's your Jags. I think it's the Jags and Buffalo.
You're stoked for that Jacksonville-Buffalo game?
The reason why, I think the winner is probably going to go on a run in the AFC. As high as I was on the Broncos, I would say about 2-3 weeks ago, I really do think the winner of that game can win road games and can go on a run. Buffalo is not going to have home field. So, and that's a team, you had the stat yesterday, that's a team that hasn't won a road game in years. So I'm banking on the experience of Josh Allen, the experience of head coach Sean McDermott, one of the only teams, rather the only team in the AFC that truly has playoff experience other than maybe the Broncos getting, not the doors blown off, but losing in the first round last year. The Chargers having a disaster class for Justin Herbert. I just don't trust any other AFC team. And on the flip side, the Jags, they might have the best offense in the league. They might have one of the best offenses in the league. And if they're able to knock out the experienced team of Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, they could easily go on a run. I'm looking at that game because I think the representative from the AFC could be from that game.
I agree with you, and I do think there's a good likelihood now the team that wins that game is going to be going on the road, most likely, regardless of what happens. So you got to keep that in mind. Number 2, they'd have to win 2 road games. Of course, bias aside, I'm, of course, looking forward to Jacksonville, that game the most. I'll be at that game with Christian Cat. But another thing that I'm looking forward to, if I'm going to exclude that game, because I got to give this an unbiased assessment, if I'm going to exclude that game, I think I'm most looking forward to that first game of the weekend and that Thursday night game, Miami Ole Miss at the Fiesta Bowl. I think that's what I'm most looking forward to.
Quickly, the Ole Miss coaching situation is intriguing. Are they going to play inspired? Are they the team of destiny that we saw, last year with Ohio State? Could Ole Miss be that team playing inspired, sticking it to Lane Kiffin? Or is Miami's style of football with Mario Cristobal, the punch you in the face, we're going to win in the trenches, and we're going to show you that we're the better team? That's probably the best game on the docket on the college side.
Not often do you get complete polar opposite teams sort of going at it like this, because you got from what we've seen so far, and you want to say Miami's offense can blow up at any point and really light it up, please be my guest. But from what we've seen, Miami's going to be a slow-moving cement truck that is going to stop everything in their way. They're going to make sure the defense kind of the offense complements the defense rather than the other way around.
Yep.
It's going to be a defensive-minded team, a defensive-minded game from their perspective, and they're looking for their defense to put the offense in positions to score. On the other side of things, Ole Miss, despite them having a defensive-minded head coach, at least to this point, they're going to give up points. They've been giving up points all year, and they're going to give up points again. And I guess the question is I wonder if you will see any point of Ole Miss sort of lose a step because coaching situation, or more importantly, you know what I want to see? And I know and Miami fans are big on, seeing Miami go all the way. For the drama, I want to see Ole Miss win again because I want to see what it would look like to wait another 10, 12 days for those coaches in Ole Miss that are eventually going to have to make a decision between them and LSU. Is LSU going to give them another 10 days to get ready for a following game? Is it going to continue to be a problem? And more importantly, how does that relate in sort of the Lane Kiffin saga? Ole Miss went and got one of LSU's top tackles who played the whole year, essentially, one of their true freshman 5-stars. Ole Miss got him yesterday. Ole Miss retained Quan Lacey, their star running back, who everybody thought was going to go to LSU. Ole Miss actually just retained him. So it's like they got a little bit of a tug-of-war going on when LSU's not even playing football games.
How bad if Ole Miss goes to the national championship, and I'm not even saying win, Colin, if they win another game and go to the national championship, is it a bad look for Lane Kiffin?
I think Lane's already pissed.
Okay.
I think he's already pissed. Christian and I had this conversation last week, and I want to pose it to you, and I'm curious in your thoughts before I'll tell you what side each of us were on.
Okay.
If Ole Miss wins a national championship this year,
yeah.
Is Lane Kiffin viewed as a national championship head coach?
Absolutely not.
I completely agree.
Absolutely not.
I completely agree.
There is no he left at the most important He left at the most important time of the season.
Thoroughly
Dare
agree.
I say they won because of that. That was the rallying point. That's why I related Ole Miss back to Ohio State. The Buckeyes lost their arch rival. They were dead in the water. Everyone said they didn't have a chance. They won the whole thing. Ole Miss loses their head coach to an arch rival.
It creates an edge.
That's the narrative I'm looking at the most. It's not, believe it or not, as great of a story Indiana is, my bias aside for being a Big Ten guy and can't standing them, Indiana's a great story.
And they got an edge.
All right? They have an edge, and they have the number 1 pick in the draft. Miami's a great story. Back to relevance. There are a lot of good stories, I think, outside of Oregon. Oregon's kind of the team. They're going, how the hell did you make it here? But other than that, the storyline I'm following most closely is Ole Miss. And numerous times on this program, I have said I am a Lane Kiffin man. I liked Lane Kiffin up until this situation. Like, I understand the whole, well, Riz, what the hell do you want him to do? I get all that. If LSU is pulling at your heels and pulling, I'm telling, if I were Lane, and not to go back on this, as we did so much on it before, Colin, I would have called LSU's bluff. Like, hey, man, I have an opportunity to do something special here. All right, let me do this.
Keep in mind, Ole Miss also put him in a position where they said, well, you need to commit to us. Like, commit, as in, you're not going to give you 3 weeks, then you're going to skip town.
Forgive me for thinking that the people in the room weren't being the best adults. Something could have been figured out, in my opinion. And both sides. And listen, Ole Miss isn't at fault here either. But the big point is, if Ole Miss wins a national championship, Lane Kiffin is, until he wins a national championship at LSU, he is going to be remembered for leaving the team that won it all. That's what he's not going to be remembered for the greatest season in Ole Miss history and being the head coach. He's the clown that left. He's the guy that left, and they went on a magical run. That's what he's going to be remembered for.
I completely agree.
Until he wins. And listen,
Christian, I'm curious on your thoughts here. Go ahead. I was Christian now.
Sorry, I was taking care of something. I missed what exactly your point was. But this is a championship team built by Lane Kiffin, and I'm proud of what he did with Ole Miss the last 7 years.
Christian's a Lane guy. And
well,
it's
Christian
fine.
was on the
That's
other side.
okay.
He said he built it, so therefore he should reap benefits for
Listen,
it.
he's not wrong. He did build it. But with the way it ended, how sour it was, and how immature he was on the runway telling the coaches, if you're not on this plane, you're out. Like, what are we doing?
He didn't coach the games. That's all you need to know. He didn't coach the games. Why are we crediting him for games he didn't coach?
And then the players, if we go back to what the players said, I remember what Lane said about the locker room. The players came out and debunked that. I don't know what to think. I am rooting for Ole Miss, though. I told you if the Buckeyes got knocked out, I'd get on Ole Miss.
That's what I'm rooting for.
I am rooting for.
Because I want to see how LSU reacts, and more importantly, I think despite Lane Kiffin, I think that's all the players are playing for at this point, and I think they're playing for really make something magical happen in their season. They're totally capable of beating Miami. Don't think that they're not. Totally capable of beating Miami.
The SEC, listen, I think another conversation we have to have is how overrated the SEC is too.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
If Ole Miss gets bounced and kind of,
you can't.
Let's say if they lose,
discredit them now. They've won 2 games. Let's
say if Miami wins, I like the scoreline you posed yesterday for a couple games. So I'm gonna say like 20-7. Let's say Miami dominates time of possession. The defense is great again. Beck doesn't turn the ball over, makes all the right moves, and they put him in a stranglehold. You're going to wax poetically about an SEC team that, or rather an SEC conference that didn't make it to a national championship?
Well, here's the thing.
The third straight year?
You're dodging the complete argument. You just drew us a picture of Ole Miss's season, and if they have a bad loss to Miami, we forget about that?
I'm looking at it more as a conference. Everyone says how bad. Everyone says how bad.
You can't
the back end.
watch the team. They've already overperformed.
I think we did a little bit of this yesterday. I'm tired of hearing how hard it is to go to Kentucky and win. I'm tired of hearing how great Mississippi State is any given week. Those teams stink. And like, you could compare them to Illinois. You could compare them to Washington. Like, and even the ACC, give credit to Miami.
Hold on.
Give credit to Miami. Miami's an ACC team, and they're already in the semifinals.
Bad example, because Illinois and Washington are middle of the pack, upper echelon teams in the Big Ten.
8-4 teams.
And you just listed the two worst teams and two of the worst teams in the
like a Maryland.
SEC.
What's the difference between like a Maryland and a Mississippi State?
Rutgers? Rutgers might be worse than both.
There's just too many teams in the Big Ten. There's 4 more teams in the Big Ten.
To circle back, I understand the SEC argument, but Ole Miss to this point has completely outperformed their expectation. Winning one game was probably a given because they're tasked with Tulane early. But beating Georgia, a couple questions about the game in terms of how they'd respond post that. But I think that's the best story going on from here on out. Yes, Indiana will be fun to follow. Indiana will be fun to watch. I think everybody's already under the impression that Indiana is this is one of the best coaching jobs in the history of the sport. Win or lose, this is one of the best coaching jobs in the history of sports. Not just this sport, sports. That's how good of a job Kurt Cignetti has done. I think that doesn't change. Of course, you want to put a cap on it. You want to close out the season. You want to be undefeated. You want to have everything go your way. But to the same token, I think they hit that point where we already have our established sort of definition of what Indiana is now and what they were and how we view the coaching job. Ole Miss, for example, if they're able to somehow do this without the head coach, and Christian was under the impression that Lane Kiffin would be happy for Ole Miss.
No chance.
Lane Kiffin would be pissed off beyond belief if Ole Miss is able to continue to win these games.
And it goes back to, I think it goes back to what I said. Everyone is going to remember Lane for leaving a national championship team. It's not, hey, that was Lane's team. It's, hey, you left that team.
And that pressure will exponentially compound onto him at LSU. Ole Miss can win 7 games next year. It wouldn't matter.
Let me get off topic real quick. Is he going to be good at LSU? Is that going to work out?
Probably. He's a good coach. There's no doubt. He's a good coach. I don't know if he's a great coach.
He's a good coach at Ole Miss. He's a good coach at FAU. Everywhere else was awful.
Yeah, it's fine. I understand. And there's truth to that. But I do think he'll do I don't know if he'll do a great job, and great job is what is great. Doing a great job at LSU is basically the baseline. That's what you need to do if you get hired at LSU. I'm not sure if he'll reach that, but I think he'll be good. I think they'll have a couple good years. I don't know how great, but I guess that remains to be seen. Lane Kiffin will be pissed if Ole Miss is able to do something here. And I know Miami's a huge story not doing it, but Miami, keep this in mind. Miami's the only team here that with the national championship experience out of the 4 here. So
pedigree?
Well, Oregon, Indiana, and Ole Miss. I mean, everybody's, Miami's back. How about the other teams? I mean, Oregon's always there. Indiana, they were never there. They're not back. They were never. This is the first time we go around. Ole Miss, same thing. This is a team that's sort of breaking through for the first time. I understand the Miami argument that this is a big story. If we're going to rank the storylines around the team, Miami comes in at number 3. They come in at number 3, a steady 3, because 1 and 2 are up here, and then a big gap, then you get to number 3. Then a large gap, and then you get to number 4 in Oregon.
I would agree. I would agree that Indiana and Cignetti possibly going, 16-0. That could be if not one of the best college football seasons of all time. The Ole Miss story with everything we just explained. Miami, Mario has been saying Miami's been back, brother. Remember, who did he look at after the game when I was in tears? It was Jimmy Johnson. He said, Coach, don't go anywhere. Miami's been back. I mean, that means something to Canes fans. This season means a lot to Canes fans to get them back on the map.
No doubt.
And even, Colin, for transfers, for recruiting, it's a big deal for Miami. And then there's just Oregon. I hate to say that there's just Oregon because that Oregon team we talk about schedules.
They
We
played
talk
great
about
against
who teams,
Texas Tech. They did.
We talk about schedules. You talk about who teams have played. For the sake of the argument, Oregon's best win in the regular season was at Penn State. Still a tough game. I know they were dreadful.
They beat Iowa.
Still a tough game.
They beat Iowa.
I might be changing my tune about Iowa. I'll tell you at a later date. But they didn't have the best regular season. And then the first game they play a JMU team who had no business being in the playoff, and then they play a Big 12 team in Texas Tech who. I know you might get angry at me for this, Kyle, but they stunk. They stunk. They were a bad team.
Yeah, that's why
they were a bad
that's
team.
why that 5 seed is a tremendously valuable seeding in the college football playoff.
And that's why there's not a lot of oomph with that Oregon team right now. It's the best way I could put it. I'm not dying to go and see Dante Moore. Should I be for NFL draft purposes? Maybe, but I think Indiana's going to steamroll them. With the way, and listen, this is a different Indiana team than the Big Ten championship team. This is a different Indiana team that played at Oregon. They are on a roll. They won 38-3 against Alabama. Was Alabama overrated? We could have a conversation. But they still won in the Rose Bowl 38-3. The only team to win that had a bye in the college football playoff in the history of the 2 years that it's been 12 teams.
1-7.
1-7. Indiana's the only team that wasn't sleepwalking their whole way through a first half.
That's a good point. 1-7. And I think there's something to that, which is why I do think that 5 slot is valuable. Oregon got the best draw of anybody because you play the worst of the bye teams, and usually they're not going to put 4 SEC teams. They're not going to put 3 Big Ten teams for bye teams. They're going to mix that up. Even though it is the top 4, quote-unquote, technically, they're going to try to mix that up via conference as best they can because there's going to be teams with better records. That's just, let's just call it like we see it. Texas Tech was there because Texas Tech did not play SEC teams, Big Ten teams throughout their regular season, so therefore affording themselves 1 loss. They don't play anybody else in the championship. They play BYU twice. Fine. And that's the reason that they were the 4 seed. And that's why Oregon, who gets to play the worst team in the entire field in the 12, which is guaranteed to be the group of 5 every single go-around, and then they turn around and they play probably the worst and least deserving of the bye teams.
Yeah. My biggest gripe is the calendar, the time off, and how things are situated with that. The bye teams, the 1-7, that's not right.
That's pattern.
That's not right. That's not okay.
It's not random. It's a pattern. And the one team that won was the team that's undefeated, putting on one of the best showcases that we've seen.
And, all right.
In Indiana.
You can sit here and say, oh, Riz, you're just a miserable fan because your team lost. Maybe. All right. I'll listen to that. But 1-7 is a hell of a stat. And to not play a game for 25, 26 days, that's not okay. That is not okay on so many reasons. Colin, I apologize if I'm getting his name wrong. I see his stuff all the time. Is it Josh Pate?
Yes. Josh
Pate brought up a great idea of
ESPN, the college football.
Yeah,
coverage.
and he does a lot of things. He wears a lot of hats, and he's one of my favorite guys. Him and I don't mind shouting out Clad. I love Clad. But Pate brought up have the bowl games be like week 13, and then do the playoff seeding after, and do the college football playoffs after the bowl game. Have the bowl games earlier, and then say so Vanderbilt thought they should be in, Colin, at 11-2, was it?
Right.
Or 10-2. You play your bowl game, you play a 13th game, and you line them up with the conference championship games. So the conference championship games and the bowl games.
There's conference champion runner-ups and conference champions that are going to be playing in bowl games.
But what I'm saying, have the bowl games. What he was saying was your bowl game that year, if you're to your runner-up thing, all right. And that's a good question.
And about every other conference, too. The MAC conference, the Sun Belt, those are the teams that are all going to be playing in bowl games.
But I guess what he was saying was that's your bowl game, is the conference championship.
Oh, okay. So
the conference championship is your bowl game, and have all the other bowl games determine, who would make it. Because the question is, what are we going to do with the bowl games? There's too many of them. How do you keep them relevant? I think that's a good way to do that.
All right, so let's play this out. Let's play out this exercise. Rivalry weekend is the weekend of Thanksgiving. That was the 29th of November this year. Dan Lanning had a good point about this. He said move the season up. He said move the season up a week, and you get 2 weeks of exclusivity before you get NFL football, which honestly, who is saying no to that as a football fan and as a college football guy who's trying to avoid the NFL at all costs? How about you move everything up? Here's what you could do. You can make rivalry weekend the weekend before Thanksgiving, because if everything's moved up, you play your whole regular season, you still have your bye games. November 22nd this year, you have your rivalry week. Thanksgiving weekend is conference championship weekend. You play Thanksgiving Day football, you have Black Friday football, you play all your conference championship games throughout that week, and you are done by the time December hits. That November 30th, to finish off Thanksgiving weekend, you do the college football playoff selection, you do the bowl game selection, and here's what I would do. I would start the bowl game process from just November 30th, which would be the Sunday of this year. December 7th would be your first bowl game. And I understand there's we got to set things up. I mean, you're just getting the teams there. December 7th, which is the following Sunday, bowl games start. Bowl games the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. And you start the college football playoff on the 13th.
A week earlier.
That's
whole
2 weeks post-conference championship week. It's the same day as Army-Navy. Make Army-Navy a Friday night game. Make it its own bowl game slot. Fine. And then have the college football playoff, all the games on the 13th or even the 12th if you want to squeeze it in.
And
then go a week after that.
And also have the NCAA figure out the portal signing day. I mean, that is a nightmare.
Yeah, I mean,
but
it's the most fixable problem in the history of problems.
So perfect. We fixed 2 things for the NCAA on Russo and Rizzo today.
Because then, if you play that first game on the 13th, that's the opener game, the home games. Then you could go the following week and play your bowl games on the weekend of December 19th, December 20th, and then you can have your national championship Christmas weekend. Weekend following Christmas, you have your national championship. That would be the 29th.
By the way,
that'd be the 29th of December.
We're looking forward to working with the national championship, and we love the Orange Bowl.
Yeah, it's going to be down in Miami.
But it's what is it, the 19th?
Right.
My
God,
God,
you are done with the schedule. You are done.
That's in 2 weeks.
You are done. You have your national champion by December 29th. Transfer portal opens January 1st, 4 days later.
Dude, the national championship is in 2 weeks. It's not right.
That's how you do it. We just figured it out. Why is the NFL playoffs great? Because it's done in a month.
Yeah.
That's why it's great. Because it's done from January 7th to basically February 14th, February 7th, whatever the day the Super Bowl is. I think it's February 9th this year. But so that's how you do it. And then why wouldn't the college football want a Christmas week college football national championship?
Think that'd do well with views with everyone home? I mean, geez.
Is that not an and what? Oh, these teams need 10. No, they don't. No,
Well,
they don't.
what about-
They did 7 days
All
off
right, all right.
week in and week out.
What about competing with the NFL on Christmas? Because you know they're going to have those godforsaken Netflix games.
Christmas is a Thursday. It's a Friday next year. It's a Saturday. I mean, you don't worry about that until you get to the weekend days.
Fair.
But NFL's never going to play ball. But you just got to hope that these games stack up.
Yeah.
Never going to play ball. I understand. They're never going to play ball.
And then everyone is so afraid of the NFL, and as they should be. They're bulletproof. They could do whatever they want. They could have the most godforsaken. They get a Browns versus Raiders, and it'll outdraw whatever the hell is.
And here's the problem. You know, the reason they like the January 19th is, number one, it's a holiday. It's Martin Luther King Day this year. And on top of that, there's no NFL Monday Night Football. So that's why they like it. But the problem is you have 3 college football games in a 20-day period. Mm-hmm. Can't have that. Can't have that, especially when college football is a regional sport.
And I'll end with this, Kyle. You got it. The teams who earned the bye, who are good enough to be the top 4 teams that earned the bye, they're off for 25 days. And spare me with it gives them a chance to get healthy. 1-7. 1-7. Every team came out flat other than, to Colin's point, pains me to say this, the Indiana Hoosiers, who are on the brink of history.
Right. Caveat, last thing here to fix this, is I remember I said make conference championship weekend the weekend of Thanksgiving, the 29th, have the college football playoffs start the 13th, expand it to 16, and have it be full Friday, full Saturday games or something like that. Because you need to expand to 16 to not allow buys, because that would still be 21 days off. It's a long time. So instead, you do expand to 16, which they're going to do anyway at some point, and everybody plays that first weekend. And make it home games. Make it home games.
Yep.
It's easy to set up a home game. You don't have to set up a bowl for it.
And I would like 4 guaranteed Big Ten teams, please. Thank you.
All right. Well, enough with the caveat.
Thank you.
We close the door on caveats.
I would like the 4 automatic Big Ten teams. I know Christian agrees with me being a Big Ten man.
We'll get into our 1 through 4 most likely to win the national championship on the other side of things. Got a couple coaching cycle hires, potential hires to talk about still. We got a whole lot packed program ahead. We're live from the SoFi Center in TGL today, which is going to be 5 p.m., so stay tuned for that. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat, it's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Don't fumble your finances. Whether you're running a business or running plays, Jay Zolo and Associates keeps your books tight in your stress light. With nearly 30 years of experience, Jay Zolo is your go-to coach for QuickBooks, offering expert consulting, one-on-one training, and full-service bookkeeping. Jay Zolo and Associates, simplifying your books so you can win on and off the field. Visit jzolo.com today. That's JZOLLO.com.
I'm Mark Anajar.
I'm Glenn Levine.
I'm Ellie Anajar.
Together, we're Anajar and Levine, and our team is a triple threat to big insurance companies.
Don't settle with the insurance companies for a fraction of what your case is worth. We'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve.
That's the Anajar and Levine difference. Get your free case review right now. We'll help you take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In office, West Palm Beach.
Hi, I'm Michael Manzo, owner and founder of Manzo's Italian Deli, and
Stop, Dad. After 20 years, people are tired of hearing your voice.
Yeah, and your lame-ass commercials.
Fresh prosciutto, mozzarella, outstanding.
Oh, please.
There's only one reason Manzo's has voted #1 deli in Palm Beach County for 20 years. Our mother.
She makes sure you prepare everything from scratch using only the freshest ingredients.
Manzo's Italian Deli is located on Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard, right next to Rain Dancers.
Is that a strip club?
No, it's a steakhouse. Manzo's is open weekdays from 8 to 5 and offers free delivery. So stop by or call 697-9411. That's 697-9411.
we also specialize in hot and cold catering for corporate functions and special events.
Just ask anyone who was at my last birthday party.
Hey guys, Mike Rizzo here. I know you're moving soon. Don't stress it. Call Good Greek for your total relocation solution. From packing and storage to local and long-distance moves, Spiro and his team at Good Greek Moving and Storage has you covered from start to finish. Trusted by families, businesses, and teams like the Heat and the Hurricanes for over 2 decades. Make your next move simple, safe, and stress-free.
Good Greek Moving and Storage. Your superhero movers.
Glow wild this holiday season at Lion Country Safari during their first ever nighttime festival, Lanterns and Lights Safari Nights. Come experience a brand new adventure as you stroll through illuminated displays featuring wildlife from across the world and prehistoric legends. Enjoy festive food and drinks, snap radiant photos, or play on glowing swings and seesaws. It's interactive fun for the whole family. See Lion Country Safari like you've never seen it before at Lanterns and Lights Safari Nights. Now glowing select nights November to January. Details at lioncountrysafari.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got the Knox in the house, right? And I go by the name of Wyclef. I bought the band.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. Colin Russo and Mike Rizzo live from the SoFi Center at TGL. And we got TGL tonight at 5 p.m. They announced the WTGL today with the LPGA. So that's going to be a good time when that starts next season. So you're going to have the top women and men players in the world for the golf game go to the big screen at Palm Beach Gardens week in and week out. We do not know schedules. We do not know teams. But all we know is that it's been announced. Colin Russo and Mike Rizzo. All right, college football playoff. We got 4 teams remaining. You got Miami, Ole Miss, Oregon, and Indiana. Let's put this together 1 through 4. Let's put together who's our top team that's most likely to win it, who's our team that's second most likely, third most likely, and then least likely to win the national championship. Let's start with number 4. I think we're on the same page here.
It has to be Oregon. There's no other answer than Oregon. And always, this is presented, Christian, by Good Greek Moving and Storage.
Who's moving up?
Went from unranked to the 14th team in the country. They were more motivated going into that game.
Who's moving down?
Can they have a good season after this? Maybe.
It's time for Russo and Rizzo's College Football Top 10 Poll. Presented by
Good Greek Moving and Storage. Your superhero movers.
Folks, if you're moving soon, I do not want you to stress it, because what you're going to do You're going to call my guy Spiro at Good Greek for your total relocation solutions. From packing and storage to local and long-distance moves, Spiro and his team at Good Greek Moving and Storage have you covered from the very start to the finish. They're trusted by families, businesses, and teams like those Hurricanes, who we're going to be seeing coming up this weekend play Ole Miss for a chance at the national title, and the Miami Heat, who are poised to make a playoff run, in my opinion. Make your next move simple, safe, and stress-free. Call the world's only total relocation solution company at Good Greek Moving and Storage. You can get more information, too, by going to GreekMoving.com. That is GreekMoving.com. Call my good buddy Corey over at Good Greek Moving and Storage. We were texting. He said, Riz, sorry about the Buckeyes. I can officially watch college football again. I'm at the point where I'm able to watch college football again. Corey?
Yeah.
So Corey's a New York guy. I don't exactly know who his college team is, but he was nice enough to say, Riz, sorry about the Buckeyes.
He's either Rutgers or he's a household Penn State fan.
I could officially watch college sports. And obviously, Colin, you mentioned we're ranking our teams here with the best chance to win the national title, the 4 that are left. Let's start with number 4, the least likely in our opinion. And that's going to be Oregon. That's going to be Oregon.
Not a question.
We talked a lot.
I am not buying Oregon.
Colin, we talked a lot about the storylines, and we'll go through all of them again with the next 3 teams. But what's the storyline for Oregon?
Not even
Dan
ranking
Lanning?
storyline. They haven't had a hard schedule to this point. They played James Madison and Tech. We know Tech stinks. We know Oregon maybe outmatched them completely. But, I mean, if you watch the Tech game, it was not a capable college football offense.
Dante Moore, he's supposed to be the second-best quarterback prospect. I don't know. I don't necessarily see it with that team. Oregon is number 4. Christian, let's move on to number 3.
Number 3.
We can have a conversation here, Colin, because I lean Miami.
I do too.
I do
too. My man right there. I
lean Miami.
There we go.
I lean Miami because
Team of destiny.
I think it's so too. I think Ole Miss is the team this year.
All right, so
it's crazy.
Staying on Miami. Yes, they beat Ohio State. Yes, they had a great win at Texas A&M. Are they going to string together 4 excellent wins in a row? Do we trust them to do that? Do we? And if so, why? Why? Because they had great defense? All right, we haven't – listen, the offense hasn't outside of 2 great drives, the first touchdown drive against Ohio State, 3 great touchdown drives this entire playoff. That touchdown drive that was led by Mark Fletcher to take them at a 10-3 lead over Texas A&M. That first scoring drive against Ohio State. And that last scoring drive against Ohio State when they got the ball with 7 minutes to go, they went right down the field.
5 minutes.
Those were your 3 huge drives that they have had. Great drives. Outside of that, their offense has done absolutely nothing.
I agree.
Absolutely nothing.
And Beck, for me, it's like Beck's doing everything he can not to blow the game.
That's totally how they're playing.
Doing everything.
Wasn't the case as much in the Ohio State game, but absolutely in the A&M.
Look who's won the national team. Maybe outside of the Michigan team in 2023, they didn't win because of McCarthy, but you look at a lot of the recent champions.
They still had a dominant
quarterback
offense.
Play was unbelievable.
They still dominant offense.
I agree.
Miami does not have a dominant offense.
But you go back to Will Howard last year. That guy completed his first 19 passes in the national championship game. I mean, you're going to need a quarterback at some point. And I blame the Buckeyes for a number of reasons. They had a chance to win the game with 5 minutes to go, and they didn't do it. And you give credit to the Miami defense. Are they the biggest question mark? And Christian, let's move on to number 2.
Number 2.
Because obviously I think it's Ole Miss, right? I think Ole Miss would be 2 here. You got to give Indiana their flowers, being the undefeated team still left here. They're on the brink of doing something historical. Mendoza's the number 1 pick. Signetti's on the urge of having the best season as a coach in college football history.
You said Ole Miss at number 2, and we start talking about Indiana. Ole Miss can do this because
you think Ole Miss is 1?
No, 2.
Okay, yeah. That's why I said number 2.
Right.
It's Ole Miss, and you got to give credit to Indiana. The reason I'm talking Indiana is because,
no, why are you putting Ole Miss above Miami? That's the real question.
I'm putting Ole Miss in front of Miami because of the mojo they have. They seem like the team of destiny. And the reason I started talking about Indiana and why they're number 1 is because I'm going to contradict myself here. If I'm saying Ole Miss is the team of destiny, they should be number 1. But we're putting Indiana there because we're giving them their flowers for being an undefeated team and having the most impressive wins probably out of the teams that are left in the college football playoff. Indiana beat Ohio State. Indiana beat Alabama in the Rose Bowl convincingly by 35
Beat
points.
Oregon at Oregon.
They beat Oregon at Oregon.
Beat Iowa at Iowa.
So, like, they probably – that's why
beat
they're –
Penn State at Penn State.
That's why they're number one. And I don't want people to go, oh, Riz, you're contradicting yourself. But the reason is Indiana is Ole Miss going to be able to do what they want to do against Miami's defense? I think that's going to be the biggest thing. Is Chamblé's going to be able to drop back 30 times a game and throw for 250, rush for a couple? We'll have to wait and see on that. But I'm putting Ole Miss at number 2. We're putting Ole Miss at number 2 because of the mojo, because of the theme, and to stick it to Lane Kiffin. I think it's about sticking it to Lane Kiffin, too.
Well, the thing about Miami, the Miami 3, Ole Miss 2, Indiana 1, for me, is you mentioned a good point. You know, Michigan's offense wasn't the focal point of that team in 2023, but they still had a very good offense.
And the run game.
The run game was excellent. Like, they had a pretty dynamic. It worked. You know, they had 2 major college football, dynamic backs with Edwards and Corum. Outside, and they had Loveland. They had players. So, from that perspective, they had a better offense than what Miami has now. I do not buy that Miami has any sense of a dominant offense, and I think that will hold them back. I understand the defense is going to keep you in games, but if that defense has a hiccup for a quarter, can Miami crawl out of a 10-point deficit? Can Miami crawl back? We need a touchdown here. We're down 7 late in the third quarter. We need you to go down the field and at least get some points here. Can they do that?
Now,
I'm not sure.
The one game they lost, they weren't able to get out of the deficit because the quarterback threw 4 interceptions.
That was Louisville.
They got behind the turf. They got behind the 8 ball, against Louisville. They weren't able to do it. The SMU game, they just blew it. I mean, the offense didn't do anything in the second half.
And they threw the interception in overtime.
And the penalty, the unsportsmanlike conduct, and when the game was over. So, like, I like what you said about can they be down 14-0, 10-0, and come back and win a football game. We haven't seen it. And you give them credit because they were never in that situation against A&M. They were never in that situation against Ohio State. And they dictated the game in both of those games. They got the big turnover against Sayin and the pick 6, and they took a 2-score lead into halftime. You go down 2 scores in this tournament, Colin, you can't come back. It's damn near impossible
especially
to come
against
back.
a defense like that. Now, Ohio has stayed at a chance, but yes.
5 minutes to go, threw it 3 yards behind the sticks.
The one thing to add on to that is, yes, defense wins championships, but that has not necessarily been the complete. It's been complete teams that have won the entire thing. Most likely, more often than not. The Georgia teams had great offenses. The Clemson teams had great offenses. All the Alabama teams that won mostly had really, really great offenses. So you just got to throw that out there, that a lot of these teams, at least if we're thinking contextually throughout history, recent memory, a lot of these teams had much, much better offenses. If Miami were to go all the way and win the national championship, make an argument they're one of the worst offenses that has won the national championship
in recent memory.
College football playoff era. I mean, is there anybody else that really pops to mind? Maybe I'd have to go through it. Maybe the only argument is that 23 Michigan team, but they went 15-0. They didn't have 2 losses in the regular season.
They had Corum, they had Edwards. The run game was too good.
Yeah, I agree.
And listen,
and McCarthy was a first-round pick. Whether you think he's any good or not, he was a first-round pick.
He made throws.
So
McCarthy made throws.
That would be the worst offense to win the national championship in recent memory, which is why I'd put them at number 3. Trust their defense. I like their defense, but I think magic and offense is going to carry them through that semifinal, and that is Ole Miss. I have a rooting interest in them. I like Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss is fun. They're dynamic, and I think despite Lane Kiffin, I think that's a great motivator.
It's going to come down to Chamblé's.
And the one
it's
question,
going to come down to the quarterback. Is he going to be able?
That offensive line.
But is he good? But is Chamblé's going to be able to maneuver if there's pressure in his face? Sayin couldn't do it. Sayin had pressure in his face all game. He made bad decisions.
And the offensive line was probably the weakest point of that entire team, which is what hurt them in that spot. If Ole Miss has a good offensive line, but if they can keep them at bay and give him time, and if Ole Miss can somehow turn this into a track meet, favor them. That would be what I would say there. And Indiana is obviously number 1.
Yep,
There's no question about Indiana.
Number 1.
No question.
And obviously, I think we spoke enough about Indiana when I jumped the gun prematurely. I mean, listen, one of the best seasons we've seen to date.
Not a question.
If they go and win the national championship, I mean, this is something we've never seen in the sport. First off, I'd have to look. There's probably been 16-0 teams in the history of the sport, but in recent memory.
No, definitely not, I would say.
I'm hashtag shooting from the hip here. But a 16-0 team, a coach in Cignetti that turned around the most losingest team in Division I college football history. What more do you want? I mean, Mendoza going to be the number 1 pick. God, I say a prayer for the kid going to Las Vegas, but he's going to be the number 1 pick. That's why they're number 1. The best wins to date within the college football playoff season, or within the college season as well. Indiana, no doubt, the number 1. And then, Colin, those are our top 4 teams, 1 through 4, who have the best chance of winning a national title. The 4 teams obviously left. Indiana being number 1, Ole Miss being number 2, Miami being number 3, and Oregon being number 4. And it is obviously presented by our good friends over at Good Greek Moving and Storage. Go to GreekMoving.com for more information. GreekMoving.com for more information. My guy Spiro, my guy Corey, and our girl Lolly over at Good Greek Moving and Storage.
I don't know how you don't root for Indiana, too. Unless you're what?
Me, I'm not rooting for Indiana.
Does Indiana have any haters?
Me.
Okay.
Me.
Only Mike.
Me.
Ohio State fans can hate it because they're a little intimidated by the fact that Cignetti has taken over the conference in just about a year.
100%. Look at what they've done in the transfer portal already. I mean,
they'll get the top quarterback every single year. They're going to have a number 1 pick. Jeez.
Yeah,
I agree.
Me.
I agree with you.
Me. But yeah, they're the darling. They're everybody's darling. Until they win, until they keep winning. I think next year, if they're in the same situation, we'll be a little Indiana'd out. All right, but it's the story this year. It is, and Cignetti, everyone wants him. That's what I find hysterical. My dad, who does radio in Cleveland, he said he wanted Cignetti. I'm like, Dad, you're not getting Cignetti. He's not leaving college. He wants Cignetti for the Browns. I said, you're not getting Cignetti. I said, Dad, you're not getting Cignetti. All right? He's making a ton of money at Indiana. He's comfy at Indiana.
Nice.
Where I will give credit to Cignetti is I don't think he wants to leave Indiana. He could have jumped the ship and went to Michigan.
I agree.
He could have went to Michigan, one of the biggest brands.
Why would he go to the?
But yeah,
if the Packers are hiring and they call, maybe you have a conversation.
Yeah.
The Cowboys are hiring. I mean, you probably wouldn't even want that job.
I laughed my butt off because
the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah,
oh, please,
my dad wants Cignetti to whip the Browns into shape.
Get used to Brian Dable, Mr. Rizzo.
Whip the Browns into shape.
Get used to Chris Shula. Learn the name. Hey, right?
But everyone wants him. Like that. That's the whole thing. Like. Everybody in college football wanted him. I'm sure there'd be NFL teams that would be calling for him. He wants to make a name in Indiana. That's the part that I think is pretty cool. That's what I think is cool.
My favorite part about Indiana is they have multiple players that are, I guess, consistent members of this offense and defense that are JMU guys still. Elijah Surratt was a JMU guy. Kalen Black, who's one of their 2 dual-threat running backs that they have, he was a JMU guy. Aiden Fisher's their top linebacker, JMU guy. I love stuff like that. I mean, it's a lot. There's a bunch of – you saw against Ohio State. Ohio State had all the 5 stars and 4 stars. And Indiana's just got a bunch of 3 stars that developed. Fernando Mendoza was he was a touted quarterback in the portal. He wasn't known as like a game changer. He didn't have Heisman odds coming in.
Cal was awful.
Yeah, Cal, he was
awful.
He was known as a pretty good player. That was it. And he walked away from it. And then he went to Indiana and blows up. I don't know how you don't root for them. Unless they pummeled you and eliminated your team, I do not understand how you can't root for them. Them Ole Miss, that's the story.
The way Cignetti operates bothers me a bit, too.
Sure, fine.
Bothers me a little bit.
I just like
swearing on game day. I
I think it's the funniest thing ever. I think it's the funniest dynamic. How you see Kurt Cignetti in any interview he's ever done, and it's like he's never seen sunlight in his entire life. He's always upset. He never has a smile on his face. He went during the game. The guy's never seen a good play if you just read his facial expressions. And then you interview the quarterback. And this guy's never had a bad day in his entire life.
He's sunshine and rainbows.
He's laughing after a sack. He's one of those guys, great hit, great tackle. That type of guy. I mean, it's a very funny yin and yang dynamic that they have as the head coach and the quarterback.
The interview he had after they beat the Buckeyes in the Big Ten championship, I mean, it was hard. It was hard for me even to not, smile at that. Like, for him to be to tears, his voice sounding like he hasn't hit puberty yet. I mean, You root. I root for Mendoza. I do. I don't root for the coach.
Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo live at the SoFi Center for TGL tonight. When a trophy's raised, it can feel like the season is over. NFL's ending in a couple weeks. College football's ending in about 2 months. But on the ESPN app, it never really is. With more than 47,000 live events, plus originals, highlights, coverage from every corner of the sports world, there's always something to dive into. That means there's no off-season. Just everything a fan needs to keep going is in one place. It's on the ESPN app. Always in season. Get all of ESPN in one spot. Download the ESPN app on your TV or phone today. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat, Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 1063.
Long ago, the seas be whispering tales of the lost flute. A treasure so rare it shows itself but once each turn of the sun. All this searching, and I found it. Publix, this be where X marks the spot?
Discounted tickets, limited time.
South Florida Fair discount tickets are on sale now at Publix and online at southfloridafair.com. Advance tickets can save you more than half, so get them before they vanish on January 15th.
Limited time deal.
Kaiser University's flagship campus. The 100-acre residential campus at 2600 North Military Trail in West Palm Beach extends Kaiser University's educational offerings to over 100 degrees. Kaiser University also has an athletic program with 26 national championships, including back-to-back-to-back lacrosse titles, and they just won their first ever national championship for men's tennis. Visit KUSeahawks.com for the latest on the championship flagship campus of Kaiser University.
Hi, it's Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike, and when it comes to the NBA, I'm like a kid in a candy store. I want it all. Tonight, the Surging Heat hit the road to face the Timberwolves in a primetime matchup. Big Test away from home. Cover starts at 7:30 right here on ESPN 1063.
It's a Twin Peaks Tuesday. Twin Peaks, the ultimate sports lodge for eats, drinks, and scenic views. This is ESPN 1063.
Listen up, team. Recycling is just like football. You can't win if you're out of formation. Yellow bin? That's your quarterback. Give it all the paper. Blue bin? Wide receiver. Feed it all the containers. But no interceptions. Plastic bags and greasy pizza boxes have no place on this field. Now, follow the playbook. Get out there and recycle right. Sponsored by the Solid Waste Authority of Palm Beach County. Let's keep winning for the planet!
Hey, Steph Prince here, General Manager of ESPN West Palm, to tell you about a team that has meant a lot to me and this community for a long time. Bob and the team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning have been helping me stay cool for years, whether at home or in the office. And living in South Florida with 3 kids, I don't know what I'd do without them. Family owned and operated, serving Royal Palm Beach and beyond since 1980. Let the knowledgeable and trained team at Bradley help you with your residential and commercial needs, installation, repair, seasonal maintenance, upgrades of all makes and styles and models of HVAC equipment, and so much more. Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning does things right the first time and makes the process smooth, stress-free, and most importantly, keeps you cool. Give them a call at 561-793-7497. That's 561-793-7497 or bradleyair.com. Any need, big or small, trust the amazing team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
Russo and Rizzo from the SoFi Center for TGL tonight on ESPN. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo with you. Christian Cat as well, back at the City Play Studios in downtown West Palm Beach, where we are streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X, ESPN South Florida on YouTube, ESPN West Palm on Twitter and Facebook, so stay tuned there. You got to understand, this time of the year, all right, well, we spent all our money on the holidays. Now it's time to save some money, put some money away in the bank. Look no further than what Flagler Credit Union has to offer.
Absolutely. You're going to do that with my guys Brian, Brad, and Adam over at Flagler Credit Union. We're live at TGL right now. Well, those 3 guys, we're going to be at TGL with them coming up, so I'm looking forward to seeing my boys down here in South Florida and at a place like TGL. But folks, let me tell you a little bit about what they do over at Flagler Credit Union. It's a division of Dort Financial, which offers personal and business banking options that help you manage your finances and simplify your banking needs. They're a nonprofit cooperative, folks. So they're a non-for-profit cooperative, which means they charge less when you need to borrow money to purchase that car, to purchase that home, and to make improvements to your home, take a vacation, or other large purchases in your life. They got 4 convenient locations here across Palm Beach County: Boca Raton, Lake Clark Shores, North Palm Beach, and West Palm Beach. Flagler Credit Union is also the official credit union of Florida Atlantic Athletics. Open an account today. Visit flaglercu.org for more information, or stop by one of those 4 locations. That is flaglercu.org for more information. I will be opening up a bank account with Flagler Credit Union here coming up soon once the 3 are down here in South Florida. I'm looking forward to it and cannot wait to tell you about my banking journey with Flagler Credit Union.
Well, the Raiders had an interesting article today on ESPN.com where they sort of broke down a little bit of the inner workings around the power dynamics amongst the team. Because Tom Brady, who's a minority owner of the team, and he has been lauded and criticized for being a play-by-play broadcaster for the color on Fox broadcast, the number 1 guy. But he's also, one foot in on that door and the other foot in on kind of putting together the Raiders a little bit. And the Raiders are in a precarious position because just last year, they hired John Spytek, who is a Buccaneers executive assistant, and they hired Pete Carroll as a head coach. And with this article on ESPN.com gets into a little bit of the power dynamics amongst the team. They said, number 1, Brady has a lot more influence than people. I mean, you understand he has influence, but he's a lot more than you think.
Yep.
He is very involved in everything. And they hired John Spytek, who is their new general manager for this past season. They hired him, and a source close to the situation, allegedly, he was not involved in the hiring of Pete Carroll. So this is an ownership decision to kind of pair these two together at the hip. And after the Antonio Pierce, Tom Telesco thing fell apart, and go down the list. Rich Bisaccia was the interim at some point too. All of that, it all blew up. And now they got Brady sort of pulling every string. And it seems like he made the call on both those coaches. I know he wanted Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson did not want to go to the Raiders.
Right.
Now they have an additional decision to make. It sounds like, if I had to make a guess, that it would be Brady and Spytek's decision, who's the general manager of the Raiders. 2 questions. Number 1, should we end this experiment with Brady, and how do you end it if you can? Is it wrong that he's able to do these things, and especially prepare for San Francisco, Philadelphia on Sunday afternoon?
Answer to that is no. What's the next question?
And the next question after that is, who should they go after? Number 1 pick.
I say, to your first question, no, but he needs to, Mr. Davis needs to pony up on some cash to get him off the Fox. If he wants to be a serious executive, and listen to me telling Tom Brady what the hell to do with his life. In my opinion, if Tom wants to be a serious kind of front office guy, dude, get off the broadcast. Go all in on the Raiders. Have your day-to-day, and listen, I don't know how much prep Tom does or whatever for the TV broadcast, how much time it takes. But he needs to be all in on the Raiders. That's number 1 for me. He needs to be all in on the Raiders. He needs to get off of the broadcast, and he needs to be bought in. And if he has as much power, Colin, as you say he does, and as the article alludes to, it's shocking to me that Mr. Davis lets him still do the TV and not give him an ultimatum. All right. And then your second question was, who the hell should they go after? It's funny because they went after the proven head coach of Pete Carroll, and that blew up in their face. They got Geno Smith, a quarterback who, for all intents and purposes, got the Seahawks back to relevancy, got the Seahawks back to a respectable team and a playoff team. They did all the right things for the sake of the argument. It blew up in their face. I think they should go after the next young, hotshot offensive coordinator who could speak to a quarterback. They're going to have the number 1 pick. They're going to get Fernando Mendoza. Get the guy who's going to be able to turn Fernando Mendoza into the franchise quarterback. Easier said than done. But that's why Tom Brady is Tom Brady, right? If you're giving Brady all this money to be involved, and if you trust your GM Spytek, you trust these guys to find
Brady's teammate at Michigan and one of his roommates.
So, that's it. He's a Brady guy. Tom's running the show, all right? All right, Tommy, go find the guy who's going to turn Fernando Mendoza or whoever you take at number 1, whatever quarterback you take at number 1 that you think is the best player in the draft that can turn your franchise around. Get the guy who's going to be the guru, the Ben Johnson. All right, you swung and missed on Ben Johnson. Well, go find another one. Go find another guy. Maybe it's Colin's guy, Grant Udinsky, with the Jags right now. Maybe it's another offensive coordinator out there. That's why Brady gets paid the big bucks. Go find him. Go find your hotshot coordinator that's going to turn your quarterback into the guy.
Hey, here's the problem. So if we were going to remember, Brady started his Fox last year, and everybody criticized that he wasn't a great broadcaster yet. He was still sort of figuring things out. He has been much, much better this year. He's actually had a very, very good year in terms of being a broadcaster. It took him 2 years to figure it out. You can make the same argument that maybe he's having a little bit of a learning curve with the executive role. He comes in first year. What does he want to do? Well, Tom Brady's first things first is he wants to get his teammate and one of his best buddies, one of the executives when he was at Tampa Bay, John Spytek, as general manager. Fine. You can listen to that. He was widely viewed as the favorite. He was going to get a general manager job eventually. Does the relationship have anything to do with it? Probably. So you have questions there. And then what does he do? He wants Ben Johnson. Well, everybody wanted Ben Johnson. Everybody in the NFL wanted Ben Johnson. You're not a genius for trying to get Ben Johnson. It doesn't work. He's not able to lure him in. Then they go get Pete Carroll, who, in my opinion, I viewed it as a good hire, but he was the oldest NFL coach in history at his age at that time, 74. So after that, all right, well, now you got to figure out what we're going to do with the quarterback position. Apparently, according to this article and according to The Athletic, Brady was anti-Darnold, and he was pro-Geno Smith. So there's problem number one. How'd that work out? You signed Geno to $30 million a year. That blew up. And there was also the reports of Matthew Stafford potentially exercising a trade clause and getting his way to Las Vegas to play under Brady and then therefore Carroll. That ended up sort of falling apart. We don't know how true it was. I know Brady and Stafford spent some time together. Fine. But he did that, and that didn't work. Yep. And all of a sudden, now you're stuck here with Geno Smith. You're stuck here with Chip Kelly, who, by the way, according to The Athletic and this article on ESPN.com, was a complete Brady hire. Brady was obsessed with Chip Kelly. They made him the highest-paid offensive coordinator in the NFL, and they plucked him away from Ohio State. How did he do? So another situation where it completely blew up in their face. I mean, of the three big things he did, 0 for 3.
Yep.
You screwed up at the quarterback position. You screwed up on your head coach, and you screwed up with your OC. I mean, jury's out on general manager. What did the general manager do? Go in and draft a running back at number 5 overall? I mean, was that really the right move? All things considered, I mean, they got they're
a luxury position, not a premium position.
That's it. You're 1,000% right. Tight ends, safeties, running backs, all luxury positions. They're great on a great team. They're useless on a bad team.
And you saw what happened. Geno Smith had no time to throw. The O-line was an absolute nightmare. And outside of Max Crosby, who are you taking on that defense? Really, I'm being dead serious. I couldn't name one other guy on that defense that you could write home about. It was a nightmare. All right, so how much of it is Tom's fault? How much of it is Tom's fault? It's all his fault. I think that's the elephant in the room.
No, it is his fault.
You explained to me that Spytek was his buddy at Michigan. Okay. Oh, did he have maybe a proven track record before that? Fine. But it sounds like Brady got all of his buddies. Chip Kelly, Spytek.
Geno Smith sacked 55 times, tied for most in the league.
And they went from there, and it blew up in their face. That's why if I'm Mr. Davis, brother, quit the TV. I want you here full time. We're going to give you office hours. Obviously, you're not going to tell Tom Brady. But you get what I mean.
Study hall?
What I'm saying is, dude, be all in. Be all in. Be all in for the team. I can't believe that Mr. Davis doesn't have a problem with that. It would bother me to kingdom come as a Raider fan.
Raider offensive line coach, Pete Carroll's son, too. Brennan Carroll.
With how much money I would think Mr. Davis has given Tom to be involved. I cannot believe that he is okay with the TV side of things. And if I'm a Raider fan, after reading that article and you explaining exactly how much Brady had a hand in this, I'd be low-key fuming. They were
beat up on the offensive line. That's my understanding. And Brennan Carroll, who's Pete Carroll's son, I mean, you're working with a lot of fill-ins and replacements. I get that. But it is no wonder this team was completely uncompetitive at the end of the year.
Yeah.
They put together a stinker of a season. Is that maybe the best thing for them long term? You can make that argument if they're able to nail this quarterback hire.
Right.
Or the draft, I should say. But outside of that, I mean, they're good in the positions you don't need to be great at. So I'm very curious on the general manager's role in all this and Brady's role in all this. Because if Brady is, talking to these head coaches, talking to offensive coordinators, talking to players that he can eventually scout and recruit while he's on Fox, it's a clear tampering situation there. And I know that there's rules and regulations in place about how much access he gets. That's about in terms of the Raiders scout. But he could still build relationships with these guys and recruit these guys to his team.
I can't believe Are you with me in the sense of he needs to get off of the desk, and if he's going to be a serious executive, get off of the desk?
Here's the thing. I like him in the Fox broadcast.
Fine.
I think he's great in the Fox broadcast.
let's put our biases aside. Obviously, we love hearing his input. We love seeing him on TV.
I think he does a
'cause
great
he's the
job with
best.
Burkhardt.
He's the best quarterback to ever play. All right. Now that
Best
that's
called game of the year was that Packer-Bear game in that overtime.
Now that that's taken care of, put yourself in a Raider fan situation. Do you really want your I'm going to call it Shadow Hokage GM, the guy in the shadows maneuvering thing? Do you really want him not 100% locked in? I don't know. I think if I were a Raider fan, I'd be steaming. To see him on those Sunday broadcasts.
Brady was at the Winter Classic between the Rangers and the Panthers last week. He was in St. Bart's hanging out with influencers on Billionaires Row. And then all of a sudden, he's trying to put together coaching interviews for the next head coach of the Raiders while preparing to go to Philly and go to the Philadelphia-San Francisco game.
Does this not sound like
what is this guy, Jesus? He can't do all this.
I know. Exactly. That's why he's not focused
He's
enough.
got wellness brands. He's got the TB method where he just eats fish like 30 days a month.
What was it?
Whatever it is. He's got all that nonsense. He's got the watches. He's got the boat. He's got the people. He's got all this. Brady, geez, I agree with you to the point that you got to split up your focus a little bit. Sean McVay, to my understanding, has never left the Rams facility since he was hired.
they got a bunk bed for him in the back. Shanahan's the same way with San Francisco, by the way. Colin, Mr. Davis, if you remember, he had an infatuation with Coach Gruden, right? This is similar to me. The situation with Brady is similar to the situation it was with Gruden, to where Gruden was his guy. That was his buddy. He gave him all the power, Mikey Mayock and that whole thing. That blew up because Gruden obviously got into some trouble. But I think Davis needs a buddy, and his buddy right now is Tom Brady, right? His high-profile buddy used to be John Gruden. Now it's Tom Brady. And Brady is Brady, and I give him credit. Guy lives one of the coolest lives I've ever seen. Greatest quarterback of all time. Where was he? St. Bart's? Brother, are you talking about St. Bart's in Middleburg Heights, the Catholic church that my father went to? Like, I have no idea. Like, you never know where he's at, and he's calling games on Sundays. Like, he's got a great life. But does that mean he has to be an executive for the Raiders calling the shots? Geno Smith, fail. Pete Carroll, fail.
If you want to be an executive.
Spytech, fail for now.
Be a part of it. Don't be the focal point. It sounds like he's the vocal leader in the clubhouse in terms of what they do and how they do it, who they get, who they hire. It sounds like he's the point. Hey, if you want to be a piece of it, hey, let me listen in on this.
Where's he doing it? Monte Carlo at the F1 races?
I'll give you my input. That's what it should be. But it sounds like it was his decision to hire the general manager. It was his decision to go get Chip Kelly. In a lot of ways, they had to settle on Pete Carroll. It was his decision to stay away from Darnold, who had a great year with Seattle, and they went with Geno instead. I know Darnold probably wouldn't have succeeded to the point. Seattle was ready to win. The Raiders are clearly not, but it would have been a better season. I think we all can agree with that. But, all these guys talked to the same thing of, hey, like Brady's not here all the time. When they asked Spytech about it, John Spytech, who's the general manager of the Raiders, he said, quote, I talk to him a lot. He's aware of what we are doing. I don't bore him with mundane transactions, right, because you would bore the executive of the team. But he said, any big decision I talk to him about, he can't be here every day right now, but I promise you I talk to him a lot, and he and I are on the same page.
It's Al Davis's buddy. Tom Brady is Mark Davis, excuse me. Rest in peace, Al Davis. He is Mark Davis's new buddy, all right? He is Mark Davis's new buddy, similar to what John Gruden was for years there.
Wow. Ethicality. We're walking on the moral gray line. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo. We'll loop in Christian Cat, do a little 5-5 on the other side of things, live from the TGL. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
Hi, I'm Michael Manzo, owner and founder of Manzo's Italian Deli. And
Stop, Dad. After 20 years, people are tired of hearing your voice.
Yeah, and your lame-ass commercials.
Fresh prosciutto, mozzarella, outstanding.
Oh, please.
There's only one reason Manzo's is voted #1 deli in Palm Beach County for 20 years. our mother.
She makes sure you prepare everything from scratch using only the freshest ingredients.
Mansour's Italian Deli is located on Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard, right next to Rain Dancers.
Is that a strip club?
No, it's a steakhouse. Mansour's is open weekdays from 8 to 5 and offers free delivery. So stop by or call 697-9411. That's 697-9411.
We also specialize in hot and cold catering for corporate functions and special events.
Just ask anyone who was at my last birthday party.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
When your team's best players have all been traded and the latest pick is overrated, just raise a glass with a friend or two and tell them more, tell them more, tell them more do. May your team be great and your picks be true, and if it falls apart, you'll know what to do. Just raise a glass with a fan or two and tell them more, tell them more, tell them more do. It's a crazy world, so what do? You tell them more, tell them more, tell them more do. Hey!
Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, imported by William Grant & Sons, Inc.
Does your business leave a lasting impression? Attractive, eye-catching signs help you stand out from the crowd and create a strong brand identity. Our team at Signorama West Palm are experts in helping your business get noticed and get effective signage in front of your potential customers. Our team can turn your blank windows or plain vehicles into money-making branding machines by drawing customers' attention to your business. So if you're looking to leave that lasting impression, call us 561-687-7993 or visit signoramawpb.com.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-7473. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 1063.
WESP Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
What would you do with an extra $700? You can earn up to $700 per year with Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Boost Checking pays 7.0 annual percentage yield on balances up to $10,000. That's up to $700 extra to do what you love. Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Requirements apply to earn the highest dividend rates. Limit one checking account per membership. Dividend rates and annual percentage yield subject to change. Business accounts do not qualify. Insured by NCUA, official credit union of Florida Atlantic Athletics.
Hi, it's Evan Cohen. Stuck in I-95 traffic behind a golf cart and a guy transporting a kayak on a moped? Same. At least you've got ESPN 1063. Oh yeah, a lane is closed up ahead. Probably should have told you about that first. Hey, more time to listen to ESPN 1063. Isn't that great?
You've seen the PGA Tour's best on the course, but in the arena, it's prime time. Season 2 of TGL presented by SoFi is back. With big moments, big personalities, nonstop action on the big screen. Shot clocks, hammer drops, timeouts, and overtime. Tickets are on sale now, but availability is limited. Visit TGLGolf.com to get your tickets while they last. TGL presented by SoFi. Keep up. It's golf.
The 5 p.m. hour is presented by Good Greek Moving and Storage, the world's only total relocation company. Local or long distance, they've got you covered.
Good Greek Moving and Storage. Your superhero movers.
When a trophy is raised, it can feel like the season's over. But on the ESPN app, it never really is. Because with more than 47,000 live events, plus originals, highlights, and coverage from every corner of the sports world, there's always something to dive into on ESPN. That's no off-season, just everything a fan needs to keep going. Always in season, get all of ESPN, all in one place. Download the ESPN app on your TV or phone today to get involved.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
Colin to the bucket, lays it up and in.
Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
Christian, breaking news. St. Lucie Battery and Tire, breaking news. Let's fire it up. Let's go.
Breaking news on ESPN 1063 is brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire. If your vehicle has issues with braking or other issues, get it fixed right now at St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
Breaking news, St. Lucie Battery and Tire announced about 60 seconds ago from Adam Schefter on ESPN. John Harbaugh is out as the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens.
That's insane.
Harbaugh is gone. Giants will have him signed by the end of the day.
No, the Browns will. The Cleveland Browns will.
The Giants will have that man
He's
signed
going to get his revenge.
by the end of the day.
He's going to win a Super Bowl in Cleveland.
Wow.
That's what he's going to do.
What a shock. John Harbaugh, who you thought was the more protected of the two between him and Tomlin, is out as the head coach of the Ravens. You wonder if it's a Lamar thing. You wonder if the relationship there was stained and didn't love it. This is a Super Bowl winning head coach who has won Coach of the Year in 2019. This is a guy who, in the last 4 seasons, outside the 3 seasons before this one, he has won 10 games, 13 games, and 12 games. He went 8-9 this year, missed the postseason by just a field goal. And then before that, he won 8 games yet again in 2021. That's when Lamar was banged up. And then they won 11 games, 14 games, and 10 games. That's essentially since Lamar's been there. Wow.
I am utterly stunned.
John Harbaugh out as head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. 888-760-3776. Was this the right decision to fire John Harbaugh as the head coach? Out is the word. I'm going to assume fired, and maybe he's walking away. I don't know
Mutual agreement to part ways.
Nobody knows that part yet, but what I do know is he is out. According to Adam Schefter of ESPN, he has been 18 seasons. He was 180 and 113 in his record there. He's 13-11 in the postseason, and he has won a Super Bowl. Gone, out. Nobody knows if it's fired, walk away. Maybe he wants to change of pace. He will be you think Stefanski's going to get calls? I think everybody in the league was waiting for John Harbaugh to see if anything would happen there. And it sounds like either the Ravens ownership, John Harbaugh himself, or Lamar were out on Harbaugh, and it was irreparable, and they had to move forward on different directions.
They asked Lamar after the game, and he basically said, hey, man, I'm still shocked from this. I'm not going to basically comment on that. I'm utterly stunned. I really thought that Harbaugh was a lifer there in Baltimore, and I totally agree with you. He is the top candidate. It's not even close. Like, out of anybody on the market, Harbaugh has just became the hottest ticket of a pathway to get your franchise back to relevancy. Like, all right, you could you chalk it? And listen, the last couple of years have not been good for the Ravens in the sense of competing for a Super Bowl and trying to win a Super Bowl. But at the same time, we talk about Tomlin being a floor raiser and all these coaches. I mean, if you're one of these horrible teams, a la the Raiders, if you're one of these horrible teams, a la the Browns, he could get you to the playoffs. He could get you the consistency that you have been lacking for 30 years. I mean, Colin, the teams that need coaches, the Jets, the Raiders, the Browns, the Jets should do a coach, but they're not going to. You get my point. You can even throw the Jets in there because they've been irrelevant for 40 years.
Right.
This is an ultimate floor raiser that's going to get you to the playoffs and a chance at the dance year in and year out. He is the number one candidate. It's not even close.
888-760-3776. Was this the right decision to fire or let John Harbaugh walk? We don't know what happened here in terms of whether it was his decision or the team's decision, or if it was Lamar's decision or just something like that. But he is now expected to become the top head coaching candidate in the cycle. Now John Harbaugh, like Mike said, the ultimate floor raiser. We just know he's out as head coach. We don't know if he was fired or if he's walking away from the team himself. But what we do know is he will not be coaching the Ravens anymore after 18 seasons there. Was it the right decision? Let's say if the Ravens did fire him. In your eyes, Mike, is this the right decision?
I don't think so because the grass isn't always greener. That's how I operate. I think with Christian, a Raven fan, our producer back at the City Place Studios, sometimes the grass isn't always greener, but Christian, you might be able to shed some light here, brother.
Yeah, all the other reporting I'm seeing outside of Schefter is saying fired. Like this was a Ravens decision and not a John Harbaugh decision, and I am honestly stunned too. Like I've only really known the Baltimore Ravens as they were coached by John Harbaugh. Like I am 27 years old. I don't remember a time when John Harbaugh did not coach the Baltimore Ravens, and it pretty much was the Ravens management saying we need to, like Mike Rizzo alluded to yesterday, we just can't waste the years of prime Lamar Jackson. We're already seeing a lot of tread taken off the wheels of Lamar Jackson. His fastest days seem to be behind him, and we can't just be some out of luck just because we clung onto a head coach that won a Super Bowl over a decade ago. And it is stunning, it's shocking, but that had to be the line of thinking.
Yeah, Ian Rappaport's way of phrasing it was after days of discussion, they agreed to part ways or something like that. So maybe that's just saving face. Maybe they realize we don't want you here anymore.
Well, the fact of the matter, I agree with Christian. This is the Ravens trying to change things up, trying to retool for a championship.
And they gave him the due diligence of saying it's a divorce.
But like the grass is not always greener.
I like
what I
this
will say.
move. I like this move. I like this move. I remember a couple days ago. Listen, Harbaugh. The one constant with him is you can make the argument that they missed that window because ever since Lamar got there is when they really started lighting it up consistently. And I understand they've seen success.
They were good with Flacco.
Good, but not consistently great like they have been with Lamar. Now, the way I look at it is I thought that team is a little ceilinged out. I thought that's a floor-raised team. That is not, to me, a team that consistently is knocking on the breath of, a full-on title. They've never been there. I know they had to deal with the Chiefs. A lot of teams can say that are not the Chiefs in this situation, but this is why you do this. 18 seasons, the relationship ran a little stale. So it seems like Harbaugh can still coach. Nobody's doubting that. He's a great culture builder there. But I think a change of pace in Lamar's prime is it's not a bad decision.
I tend to think they have somebody immediately in mind.
Well, Todd Monken comes into mind. He's the offensive coordinator of that team, and he was always somebody who's going to get head coaching looks. But I imagine they're not going to promote internally. I'd got to imagine that they're going to go around.
And I think that they have their guy in mind.
Here's the thing. Who?
I do. I think they have. Listen, the Ravens, it pains me to say this, are a well-run organization.
It's the top job. It's the top job. Everybody's going to want that job.
That's why, Colin, they're a great run organization. That's why I think you don't just do this and not have a plan, right? You don't do this and get external help. You know what I mean? Like the Jets last year. And listen, we love our guy Mike T, but the Jets asked Mike Tannenbaum to help them with their situation. That's how much of a mess that they were in. The Ravens, they're not that. So, Christian, I'm interested to see if you agree with me. Do you think that the front office and ownership, do you think that they would have a head coach in mind if they're going to do a big thing like this and get rid of Harbaugh?
Tell you what, I wish they did it last year because they would have gotten Ben Johnson. That would have been really nice to have Ben Johnson as the new Ravens head coach. I don't point to a head coaching candidate right now, one of the hotshot coordinators or even a college guy who didn't just get an extension because of the head coaching firings. All those head coaches kind of solidified in extensions and are staying with their college programs. Honestly, this just happened. I never thought about the Ravens looking for a new head coach. I'll have to think about that. Maybe through another commercial break. I have no freaking clue who they're going to put in that spot, but it is a hot job for sure.
Yeah, I tend to think they have someone in mind. Now, let's flip things over, Kyle, to the Harbaugh side of this. His pick of the litter of jobs, obviously that's not the Baltimore Ravens. Where do you think he would want to go? I mean, you told me yesterday you think Atlanta's the top job. Tennessee has Cam Ward.
Now, Atlanta's the top job if he wants to hand select the general manager. He sort of wants to take a team over from scratch. They're going to make him say no.
The Ravens, which we just got done talking about last segment.
The Giants is the one that keeps popping in mind.
Sorry, and I didn't mean to say the Ravens. I apologize. The Raiders, who we just got done talking about last segment, they have the number 1 overall pick. They have Tom Brady.
Yeah, but that roster's a dump. That roster.
It is, but the number 1, I think I think it depends on how good he thinks Fernando Mendoza could be.
Well, here's the thing.
How good
I'm
do you speculating you're going to take Mendoza.
Could he be? And Dart is good. And Dart is good, and he's a Harbaugh type of player because he's good in both ways. He's good.
Does he want to go to New York?
If anybody can handle it, it's him. That is the perfect job. The New York Giants should beg that man. And if he doesn't want Shane there, you get rid of Shane. He calls the shots.
Any chance he
goes? Make him say no.
Any chance he goes back in the divisions to the Browns? No. And plays the Ravens and gets the ultimate. Is that me living in fantasy land? Okay.
Stop.
All right. Thank you.
You agree with that? Yeah, he's not going to the Browns.
I think there's a chance personally.
Oh, gosh. He's not going to the Browns.
I think there is a slight chance.
He's not going to the Browns.
Just to
Mike, he's not going to the
I'm hoping that it ended ugly. and like he wants to
It sounds
stick
like
it to
it sounds like I see
Christian,
fired,
I'm sorry,
but
mate.
I also see mutually parted
Like,
ways.
I'm hoping that, like, it didn't end. Like, that's the only chance he goes to a pooper like Cleveland is if it ended bad and he could play him 2 times a year and just stick it to him. But no, my best guess is
this
no.
has the Giants written
You're
all
probably,
over it.
I would say
it's the perfect job for him.
My
It's the
best guess would be Giants or Tennessee. Tennessee has Cam Ward. I personally think Cam Ward is good. I don't know how Harbaugh rates him, but I would either say the Giants or Tennessee.
You got to think of the perennial nightmares. That's where he, in my opinion, those are the guys that are going to offer the biggest contracts, give him the most control. That is where he is going to have his pick of the litter of anything he wants, is the perennial dumpster fires. The Giants are a dumpster fire. The Titans is not a bad shout. I don't think he'll go there because it's too small of a market. But the Titans are a dumpster fire consistently. Arizona Cardinals have never been a well-run organization. Neither are the Browns. The Raiders, I guess you consider that. But the thing is, you're answering to Brady. We just talked about it. You're answering to Tom. You're the head coach? Well, Tom wants this offensive coordinator, so you're going to have to listen to him.
Do you think he's on the market long? Do you think next week we could get a decision on where Harbaugh is going to be? I think this is going to be quick. I think this is going to be very quick. I think it's probably going to be next by the time. What day is it, Kyle? Tuesday?
Yes.
I don't know what the hell day it is. I think by next Tuesday we'll probably have a good sense on where Harbaugh is going.
Sounds like the Ravens owner,
announced.
Steve Biscotti, who's one of the best owners in the National Football League, who grew a little frustrated with Harbaugh's lack of recent success in the postseason. And it sounds like they are hitching their wagon to one of two sides. It was either Lamar or Harbaugh. I wonder if more will come out about the relationship between them two, because in my opinion, if Lamar liked Harbaugh and Harbaugh liked Lamar, neither of the two are going anywhere. Neither of the two are going absolutely anywhere. 888-760-3776, number to get into the program on Russo and Rizzo. John Harbaugh, where could you see him taking a job next? Where do you think Harbaugh wants to go? And what team could use his services the most? Of the open ones that are available, you have the Giants sitting right there. You have the Falcons, the Titans, the Cardinals, the Raiders, the Browns. You have 6 teams available. Which could use Harbaugh's services, and which do you think John Harbaugh could go to? 888-760-3776, number to get into the program. That's 888-760-3776. Colin Russo and Mike Rizzo, Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 1063.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 1063.
I'm Ellie Anajar of Anajar and Levine. Injured in a car crash? Never rush to settle with insurance companies, and never settle for just any attorney. Demand Anajar and Levine. Our experienced legal team will fight to win you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call me, Ellie Anajar, for a free consultation and take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In office, West Palm Beach.
Hey guys, Mike Rizzo here. I know you're moving soon. Don't stress it. Call Good Greek for your total relocation solution. From packing and storage to local and long distance moves, Spiro and his team at Good Greek Moving and Storage has you covered from start to finish. Trusted by families, businesses, and teams like the Heat and the Hurricanes for over 2 decades. Make your next move simple, safe, and stress-free.
Good Greek Moving and Storage. Your superhero movers.
It's almost time for spring training baseball in West Palm Beach. Cacti Park at the Palm Beaches is ready for another incredible year with the Astros and Nationals. Watch top matchups all spring long. That's Cardinals, Phillies, Mets, Yankees, Marlins, Orioles, and the Pirates. Plus special exhibition games against Team Venezuela. Games start February 21st and run through March 22nd. Tickets are on sale now at cactipark.com. Don't miss spring training in West Palm Beach. Secure your seats today.
Long ago, the seas be whispering tales of the lost loot. A treasure so rare it shows itself but once each turn of the sun. All this searching, and I found it. Publix, this be where X marks the spot?
Discounted tickets, limited time.
South Florida Fair discount tickets are on sale now at Publix and online at southfloridafair.com. Advance tickets can save you more than half, so get them before they vanish on January 15th.
Limited time deal.
Thieves are stealing property every day throughout Florida, and it can happen to anyone. Hi, I'm Mike Caruso, your clerk of court of Palm Beach County, here to tell you about my office's free property fraud alert service. Just sign up at mypalmbeachclerk.com/property fraud. and you'll get an email anytime a document is recorded in your name, address, or property parcel number. Stop them and sign up for Property Fraud Alert. It only takes a minute to register at mypalmbeachclerk.com/PFA.
Does your business leave a lasting impression? Attractive, eye-catching signs help you stand out from the crowd and create a strong brand identity. Our team at Signorama West Palm are experts in helping your business get noticed and get effective signage in front of your potential customers. Our team can turn your blank windows or plain vehicles into money-making branding machines by drawing customers' attention to your business. So if you're looking to leave that lasting impression, call us 561-687-7993 or visit signoramawpb.com.
This is ESPN 1063's Mike Rizzo, and recently I had the pleasure of speaking with Dr. Curtis J. Keppert. Dr. Keppert is an orthopedic surgeon who specializes with injuries in the shoulder, elbow, and knee. And Dr. Keppert loves getting an athlete back to 100% and where they need to be.
Just their desire to get back to, the thing that they love to do, and taking them through a low point when somebody gets an injury, and when it is, especially when it's a surgical problem, they know maybe an ACL, they're going to be dealing with this for a year before they can get back, and just taking them through that low point, fixing the problem, and then guiding them through that recovery, and then you see them back out there playing, and it's the best feeling ever.
That's Dr. Curtis J. Keppert with the Palm Beach Health Network Physician Group. For physician referral, call 866-654-2362 or go online to pbhnphysiciangroup.com.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
Breaking news out of the NFL, a bombshell. John Harbaugh, the former now head coach of the Baltimore Ravens, officially let go, mutually agreed to part ways. He is out as the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens, effective immediately. A bit of a bombshell that's going to shake up the entire league. 6 open jobs right now on the open market. Now you got to wonder, this makes it 7 with the Ravens now being open. Where do they go from here? Where does John Harbaugh go from here? Because this has turned into a big scramble to see who is that next team that is going to award his services. He was there for 18 years. He won 10-plus games in 6 of the last 8 years, I should say now, because of this past season. And you can make the argument that Tyler Loop coming out and missing that field goal against the Steelers effectively cost Harbaugh his job. That was the straw that broke the camel's back, them not making the postseason. You wonder maybe they would have gotten rid of him if they lost the first round of the postseason, but now he is out. 888-760-3776, number to get into the program on Russo and Rizzo. Was it the right move? Where is John Harbaugh going to go next? How about this? Let's throw this in there. There are probably teams with coaches right now that are interested in John Harbaugh. Does that make you think about it? Because he could straight up have a press conference and say, I want to go to Miami, and the Dolphins will fire McDaniels.
I was about to say, the Dolphins come to mind. But if we know anything about the owner, McDaniels coming back no matter what.
Right, but what I'm saying is if Harbaugh wanted to make it available, if his agent reached out to Miami, because he knows he has the pick of the litter. If he says, I want to go coach Joe Burrow and I want to stay in the division, and I want to coach
all
Joe
of a sudden
Burrow,
Zach Taylor's not so safe.
They would fire Zach Taylor before they had a chance to blink.
They'd sell his house for him.
Oh, please. We'll set the Zillow, all right? John, you come on in.
They'd sell his house for him.
And I was just talking poorly about John Harbaugh because I don't think he's a great playoff performer with that team, but the relationship has run stale, but there are levels to this. The Ravens are a team that is trying to capitalize on a Super Bowl window. They're trying to capitalize and win a championship, but there are a lot of teams who are not there who need to get there. They want to be perennial playoff contenders. That's the type of thing that Harbaugh can offer. So that's why I think the teams that really need a rebuild and clean up the rubble, Harbaugh is one of the best, if not the best option at doing that. He is an excellent floor raiser, and he is somebody that will warrant a lot of attention in the coaching cycle.
Now, was it a Lamar problem, or was it a Harbaugh
Their
problem?
relationship problem? I think that it absolutely had something to do with it. As I said before, if Lamar Jackson loved Harbaugh and Harbaugh loved Lamar Jackson and everybody was sort of in lockstep with each other, they are not getting rid of him.
Yeah.
They are not getting rid of him no matter what. I can't listen to that. So I would be under the impression that we see the Ravens better get somebody good, and I don't know if they'll get somebody inexperienced. I don't know where they're going to go here because the Raven fan, I imagine it's a 50-50 split.
Yeah. I wonder, if there's a contingency of Raven fans that would rather have kept Harbaugh than Jackson. I don't think so. Personally, you stick with your at least for me, you stick with the franchise quarterback and you ride out a top 3 quarterback in the league right now. I don't necessarily think it was all Harbaugh's fault either, though. Like, I think it's just a lot of bad luck, too. I mean, my God, Mark Andrews dropping that pass, the Zay Flowers at the goal line. Like, I understand enough's enough, and we need to change something
Sunday
up.
night.
Enough's enough. We need to change something up, and we feel that Coach Harbaugh leaving and a new voice coming to the team is the answer. I'm fine with that, but I need the Ravens to realize they let go of a Hall of Fame coach, and sometimes the grass isn't always greener, and I think Harbaugh's going to have success. And listen, you guys know I'm not necessarily a Harbaugh guy at all, but it's like, I mean, geez, if the Browns, if my team got Harbaugh, I would be through the roof. And I think that's any team right now. The Giants. Hell, you mentioned the Dolphins. I think there's people here in South Florida who would probably be screaming, hey, get rid of Miami Mike and go get John Harbaugh, a no-nonsense guy, something that this locker room has needed for a long time. What have we heard about the Dolphins is that, listen, McDaniel's not hard on the players. He lets them get away with this, get away with that. Harbaugh would end that. He is a no-nonsense guy, and that's exactly, I think, what a lot of teams in the NFL need right now.
Currently hired head coaches should be worried if you're on a middling team like the Miami Dolphins or something like that, if Harbaugh, for some reason, would be interested. That's number one. Number two is Harbaugh can come in, and he is immediately the 1A guy. So I alluded to it before. Joe Shane, the general manager of the Giants, is in my opinion, no longer safe. If Harbaugh goes to the Giants, and that's the one that the Giant fan wants. The Giant fan wants Harbaugh, bar none. It's a big franchise. They've been begging for a guy like this. They got good talent everywhere. Defensive line. They have good young players offensively on rookie contract. They have a halfway decent offensive line, believe it or not. They have some things they need to fix defensively, but nonetheless, they have talent. If he walks in there and says, I'll take over this team, but now without the general manager. That is exactly what the Jacksonville Jaguars did last year. They had a general manager. Cohen came in, said, I'm not taking this job with that general manager. They fired him. Cohen takes the job. It's that type of situation.
Shot caller. Kyle is shot caller.
Absolutely. I think he could totally warrant that with the Giants. I don't know if that's top of his list. I don't know if he says, I want to go coach Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals are firing Zach Taylor. Right? Like, there are a number of teams that will consider that. Do the Green Bay Packers sit here and think, boy, could we use Harbaugh right now? If Matt LaFleur were to come up with another stinker in the postseason, and for some reason, and that's a huge job, the Packers.
It is.
If for some reason they got wind that John Harbaugh would go coach the Green Bay Packers, you don't think that they would consider firing Matt LaFleur?
That's a tough one.
Tough one.
That's a tough one because LaFleur, I think, would be an immediate commodity on the market too.
It would be a ripple effect. It would be a ripple effect.
Everybody would be calling LaFleur as well. So, what's the famous saying? Sometimes people's trash is other people's treasure. I mean, truly different strokes for different folks. And that's why, like, I got my buddy Zach, the Steeler fan, texted me, I wish we lost that game. And he's a Steeler, and he's alluding to, I wish we lost that game because we could have fired Tomlin.
I'll tell you another thing. Tomlin is less safe because of this, too. Because the Ravens doing this, now all of a sudden, one of the two, they've been lockstep with each other for 20 years.
They said, a couple of people said going into this game, a couple of fans of Baltimore and Pittsburgh told me, they're like, it's the battle of the loser's going to fire the head coach, And there was a big contingency that was Harbaugh out. There was a big contingency, obviously, that is Tomlin out. I just want to remind everybody that grass is not always greener. The grass is not always greener. But, you have Jackson. You have the important piece. Unlike the Steelers don't have their franchise guy. That's why I think it's going to be easier for the Ravens to have more success than if Pittsburgh were to get rid of Tomlin, because Pittsburgh doesn't necessarily have an answer at quarterback.
I think he's got the Giants written all over him. Unless something else
You're
opens.
all over that Giants.
He's got Giants written all over him.
Oh, God.
I mean, he is exactly what they need. He is the antidote to their, poison that they've had for 15 years since that Super Bowl.
By the way, Corey from Good Greek Texas Show, he says, I do think the Giants back up the Brinks truck and tried to do everything
back
they
up
can
the
to
Brinks
get him.
truck, and
That's
you
what he
say
said.
you can do whatever you want. Whatever you want. I know John Mara is sick, and I know Joe Shane is still the general manager there. I know there's probably not a lot of people in the building consistently because of these situations. But if John Harbaugh comes in, that is a guy that changes the entire franchise. I'm not saying he is the best coach of all time, but there's levels to this. The Ravens are looking for something different than what the Giants are. The Ravens are looking for somebody to take them over the top. The Giants are looking to get above water. They've been drowning for 15 years. Looking at somebody to get them above water. There's nobody better at getting a life raft together than John Harbaugh.
Yeah, and listen, we would be having the same conversations if Tomlin were on the market as well. I mean, this is Christian. I mentioned it. I mentioned to you. I mentioned to Christian. I'm stunned. Christian said he's stunned as well. I did not think that this was going to be the news story today.
Yeah,
I did not think that this was going to happen, Christian.
What about Kevin Stefanski, new Baltimore Ravens head coach? The switcheroo. You said you want Harbaugh. I don't think you'll get Harbaugh, but the Ravens can get a lot. Like, they're going to be high at the top of the list in terms of destinations for new head coaches. Do you think Stefanski would work there?
I wouldn't, just because Stefanski wants a Brock Purdy quarterback, a Joe Flacco quarterback.
What does that mean?
He wants a robot that's going to be, to do what he's told to do. Lamar is an improvising quarterback that likes to run, that likes to make something out of nothing. Stefanski can't stomach that stuff.
Hey, he's not going to stomach a two-time MVP?
You guys asked for my opinion. Lamar is not a Stefanski quarterback.
So Stefanski would like Jared Goff as his quarterback, is what you're saying.
Correct. Okay. Correct.
He wants an operator.
He would love Brock Purdy.
He would
love the guy who's going to run the offense to a T. And to be fair, the best year the Browns had is when under Stefanski, outside of the Baker year and them winning a playoff. The Joe Flacco year was truly the Stefanski offense, if you guys remember watching the Browns that year. Even when Baker, before the injury, and when he had success with Baker was, for all intents and purposes, a damn robot out there doing what he was told to do. That's when Stefanski's offense works. I'm surprised that you would sign up for Stefanski, Christian.
Didn't say I was. I was just curious. For someone who knows about him a little bit more than me,
yeah.
I am trying to figure it out. Because, again, there's no hot name coordinator right now. I can't think of,
Well, we found him yesterday. Grant Udinski from the Jags.
They're not hiring a 29-year-old to replace John Harbaugh.
I mean, one of the biggest head coaching candidates is – they have two of the biggest head coaching candidates right now when we entered this day with Harbaugh and offensive coordinator Tom Monken. So it's like, do you just –
They could hire internally and cut their losses. They could totally do that.
No, you said you didn't think that would happen.
I don't think that would happen. I don't. Because if you're going to – these are all Harbaugh guys. These are all Harbaugh. These guys did not make their – I understand Monken was at Georgia, but these are all Harbaugh system guys. Are you that under the impression that something's going to change internally? If you're trying to get over the top, maybe. That just sounds like a strange little pivot for me. If you're trying to rid yourself of the Harbaugh, then get rid of the Harbaugh. You don't just need to get rid of the head of the snake and everything else will fall into place. I don't know. It might be the safest option, though. It might be the safest option. The good news is the Ravens are going to be the top job in the market. Top job in the market, bar none.
Not even close.
Not even close. So everybody, they could get whoever they want. Because who doesn't want to go and coach Lamar Jackson? And they already have a capable defense. If Zach Orr hangs around, a defensive coordinator, he's a young guy. Monken's probably going to get a job here, but who knows? I think a lot of interesting possibilities for the Ravens.
Couple more guys. Doc Al from Men's Only Medical checking in. He says, Riz, Harbaugh to the Dolphins, please. Would Harbaugh want to come down here in 75-degree weather,
If
Christian?
Harbaugh's agent called Stephen Ross and said, I will go there, fire your head coach, they will hang up the phone and immediately call McDaniel and say, sell your house. They would immediately do that. There are a number of teams. If he calls the Cincinnati Bengals and says, I want to coach there next year, they call Zach Taylor and say, sell your house.
Yeah.
He could do that with a number of different franchises throughout the NFL. He could do that.
So, guys, I'm a football fan of two teams, one pro, one college. I'm a Penn State Lions fan, and I am a Baltimore Ravens fan. Am I crazy to feel the same about both these firings? Like, I just feel so similar, where there is a good head coach to great head coach that is putting this team in a position to capitalize, and it never quite happens. And enough is enough, I guess. Their bosses said, the AD for Penn State and the GM for the Ravens.
Yeah, I think the Penn State one is – I think the Ravens are going to get somebody good. And that's – listen, I'm not saying Matt Campbell is bad. I think Matt Campbell is very serviceable, the new head coach for Penn State. But listen, would I rather have James Franklin or Matt Campbell? I think I'd rather have James Franklin, to be completely honest. I don't know if we're going to be saying that in the next couple of years for the Ravens, because I think you have a player in
I disagree
Lamar.
with that, but I understand.
You have a player in Lamar Jackson at any given moment that can win a Super Bowl. Christian, you talked yesterday saying how you wanted to keep Harbaugh around because one of these years you might just do it. I think that could be said for any coach in that position because you have that quarterback and you already have pieces around. I think it's time to trust it. If you're a Raven fan, you got to trust that front office to make a great hiring, something they haven't had to do in what? How long's Harbaugh been there? 20 years?
18 years.
So,
very, very strange situation. I don't know if there's a right situation for the Ravens to go from here. But I honestly think if they nail this hire, it's the right move in hindsight. I really do think that. Because I think they need somebody to take them over the top, and I don't know if Harbaugh was that option. Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. If you're driving on the road and you're a Raven fan, and you get into a fender bender because you're so excited or demoralized that John Harbaugh got fired or mutually parted ways with the Ravens. But if you've been in that car accident, truck accident, any of those things, slip and fall, fell on the stairs, my friend Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine at Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys are the type that like to fight for you. They don't even charge you unless you win. They work tirelessly to get you the maximum compensation that you deserve. Don't settle for just any attorney. Demand the best. Demand Anajar and Levine because that's the real difference. Take that one phone call. Take back control of your life. Don't wait. Call for the free consultation today. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Take back control now with Anajar and Levine. If the Packers lose this Sunday and Saturday, and John Harbaugh calls the Packers and says, "I will coach that team next year," and he calls Mark Murphy, the team president of the Green Bay Packers, they consider it. That's the type of power that this type of hire and this type of open coach on the market warrants. Really does.
To Christian's point, who's the top coordinator? Joe Brady?
No.
Corey from Good Greek said maybe Joe Brady to the Ravens.
Chris Shula's up there, the defensive coordinator of the Rams.
Like I'm trying to think.
Todd Monken is one that's being floated around quite a bit.
But like OC, I kind of agree that the Ravens would go and get an OC to be a head coach.
You can't think of the opposite. Who knows? They're going to get the best guy to take that team over the top, who they think is the best leader of men that is able to do that.
But to Christian's point, I really don't know. There's no Ben Johnson, right?
Ben Johnson was as good of a guy as there been in the cycle in quite some time. Clint Kubiak's another offensive coordinator that's probably a hotter name than what Brady is at the moment. But I understand your point. I totally see where you're coming from. I don't know where they're going to look here, but they're going to need to nail it. That's what we do know. Mike Rizzo, Colin, Russo, Christian, Cat. We'll do a little 5-5 close things out next. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Football season is here, and the ultimate game day headquarters is Twin Peaks. Whether it's college Saturdays or NFL Sundays, catch every kickoff, every touchdown, every Hail Mary right here at Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views. From scratch-made favorites to ice-cold 29-degree draft beers, Twin Peaks is delivering all the winning plays. Looking for a stronger lineup? No one does game day like Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks, come for the game, stay for the experience.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ETHOS.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Avatar Fire and Ash has arrived.
I am the fire!
Get your 3D tickets now for the greatest chapter of the biggest saga in history.
Whatever happens, protect his family.
Critics rave it's by far the best Avatar movie.
If your father and I do not return, you go as far and as fast as you can.
Movies Dreams don't get any bigger than this. Avatar Fire and Ash, rated PG-13, now playing.
I'm only human, y'all. I'm only human, y'all. I'm only human.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3, live at the SoFi Center for TGL. Colin Russo and Mike Rizzo with you. John Harbaugh out as the head coach for the Baltimore Ravens. Mutually agreed to part ways, fired one way or the other. He is out as the head coach of the Ravens. He instantly becomes the top coaching candidate on the market, maybe one of the top coaching candidates we've seen in the past few years. And on the other side of things, the Ravens are going to need to replace him and replace him quickly with somebody good. So a lot of pressure there and a lot of pressure for that next team to get Harbaugh in the building and force him to say yes. In the meantime, let's bounce around. Let's do a little 5-5 with Flagler Credit Union.
5 topics.
High five.
5 o'clock.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Let's get out of here.
Endless takes.
You can't handle the truth.
All gas, no brakes.
And it's shaking big time.
It's time for the 5 at 5.
Hold on to your butts.
Presented by Flagler Credit Union, proud supporter of FAU Athletics. Number 1.
Well, it was the bombshell news that the Baltimore Ravens have fired head coach John Harbaugh after an 8-9 record in his 18th season as the Ravens head coach. It was their first playoff absence since 2021. How many games more did the Ravens have to win in order for John Harbaugh to keep his job, if you were to guess?
You can make an argument that they hit that, Tyler Loop hits that field goal, John Harbaugh has a job next year. Maybe they didn't think that way. Maybe there was a clear disconnect with Jackson. I think there is a clear disconnect with Lamar Jackson. And maybe they knew that this was coming, barring some crazy playoff run. Maybe they had this in mind at the beginning of the season. But you got to look back to that final game of the year. I don't think just making the postseason would have protected it like it does for Tomlin. But I think if they got to the postseason and perhaps won that first game on the road at Houston, I think a lot of things would change.
I'm surprised that they had a lot of things against them this year. Injuries, a lot of new pieces not necessarily meshing together to begin the season. You know, they had new pieces on defense. The defense wasn't very good the first couple of games. Lamar gets injured. Derrick Henry all of a sudden is fumbling the ball. Listen, are they excuses? Maybe. But there are a lot of reasons to give Harbaugh a pass on this year. Christian, I think nothing, with him getting fired, I think nothing short but a Super Bowl would have saved his job. That's my 2 cents on it.
Number 2.
The Arizona Cardinals have submitted a request to interview 49ers defensive coordinator and former Jets head coach Robert Saleh for the Cardinals head coaching vacancy. Are you shocked that Bob Saleh is getting another chance here?
A bit.
Jonathan Gannon? Is that not Jonathan Gannon once again?
It's the same thing. Every time I hear Bob Saleh, I just think of him saying to Liam Cohen, "Dude, I will end your life, bro. I will end your life." That's every time I think of Bob Saleh.
Good for Cohen. Good for Cohen.
Yeah. But Christian, I mean, geez, Groundhog Day much? It'd be the exact same hire. I think he's a great coordinator. I do, and I think that's his calling. I think he's a Vic Fangio kind of coordinator that's always going to have a job. That's my 2 cents.
Number 3.
Let's go to the National Basketball Association because Lakers star Luka Doncic and 2-time MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo of the Bucks are the only players to collect over 2 million fan votes in the 2026 NBA All-Star balloting. They are, of course, the top 2 vote getters in the NBA right now for the All-Star. Is that correct? Are they the 2 best players you think in the league right now so far in this season?
Definitely not. Here's the thing I want to bring up, because they're not the best players in the NBA at this point. But the NBA is going to have an interesting year because they have a lot of players with bad injuries. Jokic is not going to hit the 65 games because he had the hyperextension in his knee. And Luka Doncic or Giannis is another guy who had a lot of injuries. He's not going to hit the 65-game limit. If Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and the Thunder have stunk, by the way, they're 6-6 in their last 12. But if all of a sudden, if Luka Doncic, for whatever reason, gets hurt, if Shai Gilgeous-Alexander misses 2 weeks, they're going to have an MVP. Jaylen Brown's going to get it, who might deserve it, but Jaylen Brown's going to get it. So I think that's interesting how all these guys are getting hurt, these top-line stars, but those are 2 not the best players in the NBA.
The Joker's averaging a triple-double.
Right, and he's going to be missing a month, so he's not going to be able to get that award. He's not going to qualify.
Gilgeous-Alexander. I think Luka's proper. I just can't believe how bad the Lakers are. I mean, LeBron comes back and all hell breaks loose. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but the Lakers need to move on from LeBron. They need to move on from LeBron.
Yep.
As much as I hate to say, you guys know I love LeBron. He walks on water to me. But, like, they need to.
He needs to retire. That's what he needs to retire.
They need to figure that out. Luka properly rated, Christian. We could have a conversation about number 2.
Number 4.
Let's go to the gridiron. We had a football game last night, an FCS thriller. Illinois State, Montana State, overtime, the bottom half of overtime. Illinois State leads 34-28. Montana State has the football. 4th and 10 from the 16-yard line. Take it away.
Down in overtime. They bring pressure. Lamson throws. End zone. Caught. Touchdown. Taco Dollar. They hit the extra point. Montana State staves off the upset bid and wins the 2025 FCS National Championship. Did you guys watch any of that game? And if not, how cool of a name is Taco Dowler? That was the game-winning reception guy in the end zone.
I did not tune in for it, but shout out the Big Sky. Shout out the Big Sky. Montana State, shout them out. That's a heck of a win. Awesome game. I don't know where they held that game this year. That's what I'm curious about. But I did not tune into this one.
Illinois State, Christian, was a partner at an old radio station I worked at in Peoria, Illinois. And they were a laughingstock. I mean, they went on a hell of a run.
That's a great season.
I urge you guys to go and look up the run that Illinois State went on to actually make it to that game and to be moments away from winning a national title. Christian, I had it on in the first quarter, but I got to be honest, I turned it off.
For what?
I turned it off. I wish I had the. I wish, Christian, I wish this great story ended in me watching the whole thing. It ended with me watching Ohio State basketball blow it to Nebraska and going to bed.
I see. Well, that was the 5 at 5 brought to you by Flagler Credit Union. And when I get off the airwaves today, when you guys break down your stuff, I'm actually going to head down the road and work on my golf game courtesy of the Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center. That is a campus that has now 27 national champions. That's right, 27 national champions. Shout out the women's soccer team who won a national championship just this past fall semester. I go to Kaiser to work on my golf game. Coach Pete, Coach Evan, they've been helping me every single week shave strokes off my game. They've lowered my handicap by 10 strokes already. I can't wait to see what they'll do with my golf game in 2026. My goal is to break 85. I think I can do that. I know I can do that with the coaching and guidance and the tools at Kaiser Golf Coaching Center. So maybe, just maybe, I'll approach 80. KaiserGolfCenter.com, KaiserGolfCenter.com. Get your lessons today. Stop wasting your time hacking the ball around your local muni with no direction, no lessons. You deserve better than that. KaiserGolfCenter.com, indoor and outdoor facilities. You won't regret it.
Another coaching move. Jason Garrett interviewing for the head coaching job of the Titans. Hasn't coached in 5 years.
He's been on the desk. Been on that NBC desk.
I remember he hasn't been a head coach since 2019. Then he was the offensive coordinator for the Giants for like a season or two tops.
I remember Garrett. He got fired and wouldn't leave.
That's right.
Wouldn't leave the building in Dallas. An Ohio guy, by the way, Garrett. Youngstown, believe it or not.
Okay. Well, I mean, he hasn't coached in quite a bit. They're trying to bring him back. Maybe Jeff Saturday's available for an interview as well. Nonetheless, Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat saying so long. We'll see you tomorrow with some more Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
The 5 p.m. hour is presented by Good Greek Moving and Storage, the world's only total relocation